Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's 7:30 a.m. Price of Bitcoin currently at 75.01. All right, looks like we haven't really done anything overnight, just chop, chop, chop right around this area. Yesterday, I want to show you guys in the advantage side, we took two amazing long trades, and here they are. So you can see yesterday we entered a long around 71.80, just on the breakout of this high marker. I'm going to show you guys that real quick. So that was down here. Okay, so once we saw a clean candle close above this area, and then the next candle looked like it was wanting to push higher. All right, this is where we entered the breakout candle, and we rode all this way up to $7,500 or so. And I'll show you guys why I chose 7,500, and why is it that we avoided this whole thing, right? It's not like we didn't want to make more money. It's rather that the technical levels did not allow us to sort of set, take profits all the way up here without first, taking profit over here. Okay. All right. So let me show you guys. Okay. So if you look in this consolidation period right here, right, this area. Okay. Let's do this. Let's make this marker. All right. And let's make this available on the 4-hour as well. So if you look over here from this previous consolidation period, you could see that's the high, right? Okay, so when this candle right here was moving up like this, okay, remember there were stops sitting above here, stops for shorts sitting above here, stops for shorts above here, here, and here, okay? All these areas, these arrows have been untapped, right? Because for the most part, all we've really done is come down here like this, like this, like this, and then broken down some more. Okay, and then yesterday when we finally made this push up, this was actually a short squeeze in the making. Okay, so it wasn't really the fact that there was a real volume potentially coming into this, and real players were getting involved in the market. It was really more so that as prices kept going up and up, it's the short closings that were cascading and forcing the price to move up even faster. This is why sometimes you'll see price accelerate like this in less than 5-10 minutes. Okay, it's not because it's the real volume coming in. It's because as price inches up and up, the short positions are either getting liquidated or people are furiously closing out their shorts in anticipation of price moving higher. And so they're effectively adding fuel to the fire, which then generates this, a $400 candle in less than 5-10 minutes. Okay, so fact of the matter is we got into a long position right there, 71.80, and I closed out right around $7,500, as you can see. Okay, so we got to catch a nice $300 move or so. All right, and now then after that, last night, okay, we got into another long position. I want to show you guys exactly how I spotted that. Okay, so if you actually dig down way into the 5-minute chart, all right, now I don't ever recommend anyone trading on the 5-minute charts unless you know what you're doing. Luckily in our community, we know exactly what we're doing. So what we did was we mapped out the high, which was this wick right here, right? And then we mapped out this low right here, as well as the previous low, right around this 74.50, 74.75 area. Remember, that comes from this marker, right? You guys remember? The high of this big consolidation period that we had is this thing. The high of that is right there around 74.75 or so. Okay, so if we go down to the 5-minute chart, it's close enough, right? Where you see 74.45 right there. Okay, so what we did was when we saw price coming down to this level right there, right, I placed some buys or long position buys for 74.75. Okay, and we got into those. As you can see right there, my entry price was about 74.74. And what I did was I set an exit point of about $7,600. So why 76, you're probably wondering, right? So if you look across the board, okay, so let's put a marker on 7,600, okay, close enough, right? Now let's make that a different color so it's more identifiable. So if you look on this yellow marker, okay, this was where we bought our long. So prior to that, you could see right there, we hit right above $7,600 multiple times, right? So clearly this is a strong resistance area, okay? Whole numbers like that, 7,600, 7,500, 8,000, those are typically some strong markers where algorithms typically gravitate towards, okay? So these three markers you could see right around $7,600, right? And once I got into this long, because I'm in the US time zone, I was pretty much asleep overnight, right? And then price, for the most part, gravitated up and up. You could see, hit my target of 7,600, and then boom, came back down. Now we're at basically where I entered, which is 74.98 or so, right? So fact of the matter is, this is how you can make money overnight without having to do a whole lot. And I'm not saying it's easy, okay? But it is simple in a sense if you actually understand what's going on in the structure of price, all right? Now, I had to dig into the 5-minute time frame to understand the key level of support and resistance. Well, luckily the support actually came from the hourly and the 4-hour time frame. Only the resistance was I able to understand that the $7,600 marker was going to be a resistance. So you can see I got out of it right there, took profit, closed my position overnight, and then now we're pretty much back to 74.92 as you can see, right? So 2 quick trades, good money made in the last 24 hours or so. And now I'm just sitting out. I'm waiting for the market to show me what else it wants to do, and then I'll consider getting back in, whether it's a short position or long position. Okay, and the reason I mention this is because whenever I post my bearish analysis about how I believe, so yesterday I think I posted about the bull and bear case for Bitcoin as equities break down. I stated that there's a possibility that Bitcoin could go to $1,200, but it would still be an amazing asset to own. Sorry. So fact of the matter is, all right, the reason people cannot accept the fact that Bitcoin cannot go lower, just like most people could not accept the fact that way over here, right, in 2017 high, no one could accept the fact that price could go all the way down to 3,000. If you were part of our community right here, we quoted this right here, this movement right here, as a descending triangle, and we had stated a target of about $2,500 when this was developing right here. I had stated a target of about $2,500. Everyone thought we were crazy. But guess what? We hit 3,100. Obviously, I was off, right? But fact of the matter is, we were very, very close in terms of what other people were thinking in terms of their bearish targets, okay? And I'll tell you another thing, all right? On this way up, as we were coming down like this, I stated that I had a target of about $5,500. There are multiple reasons why I had a target of $5,500. One being this little consolidation on a weekly was right around, as you can see, 5,000 all the way up to about 5,500. So I stated that was going to be my target. All right. So again, 2 times in the last 2 years, the big moves, I've actually been right. My timing hasn't been right, and I haven't been, spot on as most people would say. Okay. Obviously, this time around, back here in 2017, 2018, I stayed 2,500. We got a price of about 3,100. We got into longs around $4,000 to $4,200, and we rode most of this move up. Okay, and you can find this in our community, in our Alpha Trades channels. You can see this in our gains reviews. You can see all the people who have seen amazing growth for their positions, for their knowledge, etc., in our community. Okay. So fact of the matter is, we're seeing pretty amazing growth from our members, showing us that, hey, we are doing the right thing. We're letting people know exactly what we're doing. Even if, our calls don't seem like they're viable right now, or they seem a little bit outlandish, we know what we're doing in terms of technicals, because Faisal and I have been studying markets for a while. We've been trading them for a long time, okay? So when we say a target, when we see patterns and wedges and technical levels and fundamental reasoning for figuring out specific price action, okay, you have to understand that it's not that we don't like Bitcoin, okay? It's just that it is what it is. If the price is showing us that this is what it looks like it wants to do, what am I supposed to do, right? And I think the visceral hate that people have, for others like myself who talk about, $2,000 Bitcoin or $1,200 Bitcoin, I think that is one reason why all these people need to get flushed out of the market. When they lose all their money, chances are, then at some point, maybe in the next few years, then Bitcoin will go up, okay? But there's way too many tourists and speculators in the market, okay? Because all these people who comment on my YouTube videos or say that it's impossible for Bitcoin to do this or that. Nothing is impossible, first of all. Is it likely? I mean, yeah, there's a lesser likelihood of price reaching all the way to $1,200. But again, if price can make it from 0 cents to 20,000, pretty sure it could go back to 1,200 bucks. Okay, so don't look at this market as, hey, it has to just keep going up to see value. And I think maybe that's where the disdain comes from people, is that they want to see price going up, and that validates in some way in their mind that, okay, because it keeps going up, then it's a legitimate currency. But if it goes down and it drowns in value, people think that this is a shit coin and it's going to go to zero, etc. See, that's not how I look at it. It's rather that for Bitcoin to be legitimate, if it comes down all the way here and it still is alive over the next year or two, and it flushes out a majority of the tourists and the speculators and the day traders on the market, then I think it may actually see real world value. But until then, there are far too many people who are thinking that Bitcoin is going to go to 20,000, post halving, or 40,000 or whatever. I would probably say with more confidence that most of these people will probably get flushed out of the market. Okay, and the best way to do that is drag price to these lows right here and make everybody suffer. The only people who don't suffer are the people who got in pre-hype of this movement right here. Okay, and these are the people who bought in down here, are the developers, are the real miners, are the early adopters, and people with significant money. Because for them, if price comes down to this range, it's basically where they bought in a couple of years ago. So it doesn't matter, right? Maybe some of them even bought in, down here. In which case, if it comes to this area, they're still up 10x. Because remember, the lows right here were about 150 to 200. This area right here is about, $1,100 to $1,300, right? So they'd still be up, 5 to 10x, okay? So I don't believe that, if price comes down here, and it's possible that it does, Bitcoin is dead. I don't think that's the case. I would probably say Bitcoin has a better chance from here to actually climb up over the next several years and be seen as a legitimate asset, okay? So anyway, point is, we write these Medium articles, I make these videos, and I think I trigger a lot of people into thinking that I'm bearish on Bitcoin, I hate Bitcoin. That's not the case, okay? I look at markets from, as objective of a position as possible, okay? I actually would say I have a bias in wanting to see Bitcoin succeed, okay? So fact of the matter is, I'm actually on your side, except I'm actually helping you understand, instead of you potentially just thinking blindly that we have to keep going up and up, I'm telling you that if we go down, there's a higher rate of survival for Bitcoin for the longer term. Okay, let me show you guys another reason, just a quick example of how speculators and day traders work in markets. Okay, so lately I'm sure you guys have seen that the price of oil, went down to negative $40 on the May contract, right? And I think a lot of my friends started asking me, hey, how do we trade oil? How does the USO ETF work, right? And a lot of them had, for the first time ever, heard of how the hell to trade oil. And they definitely never heard of, what the USO ETF is, okay? So I put up this post on my Twitter page right here. You can find me at Alpha Trades or _Alpha Trades. And you can check out this post, right? So several of my friends, as you can see, they asked me, how do we, quote unquote, trade oil, and specifically buy the USO ETF. And most of my friends, I could tell you honestly, they're not astute traders, they're not savvy investors, and they're definitely not privy to information in the oil sector, okay? So this tells me that retailers, for the most part, are going to get crushed in the June oil futures, okay? June oil futures are still trying to figure out their way in terms of price action, okay? If May got sold off to negative price action, right, almost negative $40, I don't see any reason why June should be worth $17, okay? So fact of the matter is, the people who are buying the USO ETF, first of all, thinking that it has anything to do with, quote unquote, buying oil, Not true at all. USO ETF is consisted of, other energy companies, as well as 30% of the June oil futures contracts. Okay, and for the most part, there's so much speculation in this ETF. The ETF itself was already having trouble maintaining its shares. All right, so I personally am of the opinion that I think USO will probably go to zero. I think this ETF is in a lot of trouble, and I think it'll probably go to zero, or it will be delisted, or something will happen, because there's too many speculators who are getting into oil thinking that they could just buy and hold for the long term, and that's not the case. Okay, the market, first of all, never makes it so easy and binary for your average retailer to understand what's going on. Okay, so fact of the matter is, the people who keep asking me about speculating on oil or the USO ETF, be very, very careful. Okay, there's a specific example. I don't want to call anybody out, but there was a member or someone, I guess, he commented on my Twitter page, and he said, "Hey, I was stupid to buy USO at 446. Please tell me your opinion on how it will keep for 1 year." Right? Will the roll and the contango keep the price pressure down by 2021? Thank you very much. So as you can see, if someone, first of all, who bought at 446, okay, so he's already down, let's see, from there down almost 30 or almost 40% or so, right? He's already down 40%. Now you could see that he has no idea what to do in this particular situation. I don't blame him. Listen, there's nothing wrong with, this person buying into something thinking that this is a good, quote unquote, price for oil. But the thing is, they didn't understand, first of all, this had nothing to do with the price of oil. This is just a speculative ETF for the most part, okay? And especially now, given the fact that there's so much excess supply and dismal demand, all the future contracts, all the ETFs related to oil have really just been either overvalued still, or they're not worth anything, okay? So fact of the matter is, I had to tell this person that, there's just too many people speculating in this market. And this goes back to Bitcoin too, right? Though I think there's more of an understanding of people who invest in Bitcoin, they understand Bitcoin. However, they don't understand market dynamics of how Bitcoin can be impacted and affected by what's happening in the equity markets, okay, in the oil markets, in the bond markets, in the gold markets. All these things are now related. Bitcoin has now come to the front stage because last month, right, in the month of March, we saw Bitcoin move aggressively toe-to-toe with equities and actually sell off at a worse percentage. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, Bitcoin has now been tied with equities, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you like it or not. Okay, so unless equities move, Bitcoin, doesn't move. Okay, so this is where we are. I believe that this previous high in 2013, this consolidation in 2017, is the one place I see Bitcoin coming down to. Okay, 1,300. Another option is it could very well land at $2,500 as well. And that could be it too. But I just don't see Bitcoin valued at current price action. And I don't see how in the next few months it's going to stay where it is, especially given the kind of fragility that we're facing in the equity markets, okay? So I'm more confident that Bitcoin has a path down versus Bitcoin has a path up, okay? But again, I hope to be proven wrong. Like I showed you, right? I don't care what happens to price. I will take positions up or down, right? I took 2 longs yesterday, made some good money. Do I care what happens to the price of Bitcoin? Not really, okay? Majority of our positions in the longer term, as you can see, we sold out of our majority of our positions in mid-February, right there, as you can see, right? A lot of my long-term holds, okay? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, Nexo, Tezos, all these things I sold out on, okay, right in the middle of February, because the hype was too high. Everyone kept saying that, price of Bitcoin has to go up and we're going to go to 15,000 or 20,000 and Ethereum's going to go to 1,000 again. It was just too much, right? So understanding what's happening, the sentiment behind the scenes of the market is critically important, all right? Okay, so let's get back to the analysis, right? So what do I see that's happening in the market right now? At the current moment, here's how I see the market, okay? So we've basically chopped around here for the last, several hours or so, okay? I'd probably say that we're going to take out this high right here, and that's on the 5-minute time frame, as you can see, okay? If we take out this high, do something like this, and we start pushing up, I probably see there's a higher chance that we go back towards $7,800, that high we put in at the wick, okay? However, what I think is going to happen is we're probably going to move up really sharply, hit this high, and then start rolling back over, okay? And I think if we start rolling back over and we start taking out these lows right here, all right, especially that 74.75 marker, and we do, say something like this, and we start doing this kind of price action, we start rolling over, there's a very high chance that this could be a good shorting opportunity. And you could place your stop here, and you could easily ride this down, possibly towards maybe 71.50. This little consolidation period that we had over here. And this is actually visible on the, let me see, I think it's visible on the 1 hour. Actually, no, I take that back. Yeah, actually it is visible on the 1 hour. So this little consolidation period is probably the next stop that Bitcoin has support in, if it does decide to fall, okay? And that's, like I said, between about 71.85 down to about 7,025. So that $150 range or so, okay? So keep an eye on that, all right? Alternatively, like I said, if this thing, pushes up and then it maintains above this area, then I think it has a higher chance to get to 7,800 and possibly even 8,000, all right? The S&P 500, like I've said, has broken down from its rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. The one thing that we're looking for on the S&P 500 is once we put in this high, this low, we want to see a lower high and a lower low being put in. I think once that's cemented right there, chances are we're probably going to go to this next support, which is 26.27, and possibly even lower way down here around 24.50. Okay, but we're a ways away from that. I'm taking the market one day at a time. I'm informing my Advantage members everything that I do. You can see in our Bitcoin analysis channel, I do these evening analysis updates. I put out multiple updates through the day, showing people exactly what's on my mind, what I'm seeing in terms of the markets, and even equity markets. You can see Faisal here, our equities analyst, puts out fantastic updates showing you guys exactly what he's seeing in the market, what to look out for, specific levels to look out for, etc. Okay, so tons of information that we give to our Advantage members, which are paid members, and there's a link below in our YouTube description. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can give us a thumbs up, comment, or you could join the free side of the community too, where we sometimes give out, free information. But obviously, we're going to give out a majority of our attention and information to the paid side, which are all these locked channels that you see, okay? One other thing that I want to show y'all is our equity updates, or I'm sorry, the Forex updates, okay? So you could see right here, folks, we actually took in a short position on the entry over here around 108.7, okay? And we rode this to our first target profit just yesterday as it hit multiple times, as you can see, and we took profit, got out of that position, and this was actually a good 1,000 pip move, okay? You can see, that was a good, almost close to 1,000 pip move, all right? So I'm really happy about this Forex trade, and I love trading the euro dollar. So these are kinds of, the trades that we provide. And even before that, we actually had a dollar ZAR trade, which we took on, okay? And I can show you that real quick, all right? Let's check that out. Okay, so this was the dollar ZAR trade. We took it somewhere, I think down here, and we rode this all the way to our target profit, all the way up here, okay? So we trade Forex pretty heavily as well. We trade the oil markets, we trade equities, we trade crypto. So all this information is available to you for $97 a month. And starting May 5th, folks, that price is gonna go up. And unless you're grandfathered in and you're purchased into our membership right now at $97 per month, that price is going to go up for you after May 5th. So I hope you guys come join. I hope you hit the thumbs up for our videos. I hope you leave us a comment on your thoughts. But yeah, last but not least, I do want to show you one more thing, okay? One more thing, because this is critically important, all right? And I'm going to pull up this as a line chart, and I'm going to match it with US 10-year Treasury notes, okay? Let's make this a different color. And the 10-year Treasury notes is a bond, right? So for those of you who don't understand bonds, all right, bonds are associated with debt, okay? Specifically the Treasury notes, which are the US 10-year that I just put on, as you can see, US 10Y, that's the ticker. These are associated with the 10-year Treasury bonds for the United States government, okay? So that's effectively saying that I believe, 10 years down the road that this bond is going to be worth more, okay? So the fact of the matter is, all right, bonds are significantly larger than the equities market. And bonds actually signal what's happening in the under the hood of the economy. They give you the true signal of what's right and what's wrong, what's good in the markets and what's bad in the markets. So I want to bring your attention to 2008, 2009, where you can see the purple right there, which is the bond markets, the 10-year Treasury note, and the black is the S&P 500. Notice in 2008, 2009, the recession that we had, right? The Great Recession, okay? Both of them bottomed pretty much together, okay? And then both of them moved up together. Obviously, the equities markets kept going up, bond markets pulled down just a little bit more, but then they climbed up again, right? So where are we now, okay? You can see for the most part that the bond markets kept going up with the equity markets for the last several years, but then at some point in 2018, equity markets kept going up, bond markets kept going down. Especially now, you can see we had a big drop, right, in the equities, but then equities recovered, which is the S&P 500 in the black right here. Equities recovered, bond markets did not. Bond markets kept going down, okay? So this is actually not a good sign. And this is why I've been telling people over and over that I really, really don't think we're out of the woods yet in terms of the stock market, okay? And if we believe that we're not out of the woods yet in the stock market, we are definitely not out of the woods in terms of Bitcoin, okay? I don't care if Bitcoin goes up to 8,000 or 9,000 in the next few days or few weeks. If the equity markets come down, Bitcoin is coming down with it even more violently, all right? That I can guarantee you, okay? Because no one really wants to speculate on a high-risk asset like Bitcoin when it seems like the equity markets are going down and the overall economy is still not healthy. Remember, global economy is still not healthy, okay? Especially in America, we know that we've been seeing these figures of million people, right? Multiple million people getting unemployed pretty much every week. We're up to about 26 million people now who are unemployed. Small businesses have shut down. Major companies have declared bankruptcies. Major companies have had their bonds be denoted as junk bond status, which is basically like no one really wants to touch your company, okay? So the fact of the matter is, I don't think we're out of the woods, right? In the equity side, I don't think we're out of the woods in terms of Bitcoin, okay? So this is why, even though I may put on my analysis and I tell you guys I'm bearish and you see the price going up, just remember the bigger picture at play, okay? Remember that even, way back here in 2008, 2009, when we were falling down like this, there were so many people who were talking about, no, we'll be just fine. And, the equity markets will recover and we'll be hitting all-time highs soon, but then what happened? From here down, we dropped, from here down, we dropped another 50% or so, okay? So if we are where this was right here, this movement to the upside, if we're here right now, right, and say we have another 50% drop from here, where does that take us? Okay, actually, let me turn this off so you can see in terms of points, right? That takes us down to about 1,500 points or so. I know that seems crazy, but remember that we're in extraordinary times, okay? We've never faced an economical circumstance like we are facing right now, okay? So it would behoove you to humble yourself and to understand what is happening in terms of the real economy, what's happening in the markets, and be very, very careful of how you position yourself in terms of your investments, your trades, etc. Again, I can't give you financial advice, but I can show you guys in the Advantage community exactly how we trade. right? Exactly why we take certain trades, where we place stops, for specific reasons, where we get out and take profit, etc. These are all the things that we offer in the Advantage side. So I hope you guys come join, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and below is a link for signing up for our Advantage membership, okay? Again, we're formerly known as the Cryptosomniac community. We've recently changed our name to Alpha Trades, as you can see, and you can find us on Twitter as well. Alpha Trades right there, that's our symbol, _Alpha Trades, and then, yeah, that's it. I hope you guys come join, and till then, have a great rest of your Friday, folks. Enjoy the weekend, all right? Cheers.